Hello, this is Evan Taylor, and I'm going to talk to you today about my child support calculator that I put here on Google Docs. First of all, a warning: if you're not familiar with calculating child support, you probably should not use this calculator. Use the one provided by Oklahoma DHS online. You can find a link on my website. This is the calculator that we use within the office, and one that I developed several years ago. I think it's handier and easier and better than the DHS calculator. It also produces a shorter and prettier child support computation. But I wanted to give you a tour of it, so if you're interested in testing it out or using it, you can. Again, I would expect mostly for attorneys to be able to use this if they wish on the fly or mobilely. So let me start first with this worksheet. This worksheet is the tool by which we enter in all the information to go into the child support computation. The actual computation that the court would sign or that would be presented is on tab 2. You can actually see it here. But we don't ever enter any information directly into tab 2. All the information here is drawn from the worksheet, which is on tab 1. The first section is the case caption information. Because we put the caption onto the computation, this is where you'd enter the county, the plaintiff's name, the defendant's name, the case number, and the child support family group number. Right below that, we would begin with the data field entry, which we're going to actually enter in the information for the computation. The first thing being the number of children, the second the gross incomes of each of the parties, and then any deductions based on self-employment, court-ordered support payments, Social Security, Title II benefits, and such. Also in-home children. You can see that all right here in this table. The second table is the child expenses table, in which we'll put in the expenses that each side pays. And this will also be entered directly into the computation. The next, our third table here, is the DHS assistance data. So if we have child care subsidies or if we have state medical insurance, then that's going to explain to us how those are used, and it will actually do the state calculations. Also, there's a section here for the guidelines and effective date. My standard option is just per the journal entry, and we usually follow the guidelines. If you didn't follow the guidelines, I'd say you put no. You notice the section comes over here for reason for deviation, and this field right here, you'll put your reason why. And that will automatically be put into the child support computation down here at the bottom. You can see it. Okay? Now, also in the very last table here, we summarize certain data from the child support computation, and this is actually the income assignment calculations. If you've ever filled out an income assignment, you'll notice it'll ask you for a breakdown for weekly pay, bi-weekly pay, semi-monthly, and etc. This will break down the total child support obligation into those various periods, so it's easier to put it on the income assignment. Let's go back here to the top, because you'll see it's very important where it says child support summary. This is actually drawing information from the computation based on the data you've entered, and it's going to show you what the summary calculation is for each side. Now, my calculator is different than the DHS Excel calculator, because I don't know why they make you enter the obligor, because the guidelines determine who's the obligor. You don't need to decide ahead of time. So mine's built that if you enter the information in right, it's going to tell you who the obligor is. The default is set up to be the father. I think in the long tradition of child support enforcement, always thinking that the father is the one who pays. Certainly not always the case, but we followed that tradition and put it here. If you look to the right, we have tables here that are titled income calculators. This is just sort of a calculator to use if you're trying to come up with estimated incomes. For example, we have the wage calculation here. We can actually enter in, a wage. This here we put minimum wage, and you can enter in regular hours and overtime hours, and the results will be displayed here at this bottom table where it says income results. We also have an annual method. This is when you're just taking it for the year, to the total for the year, and it's going to say, you'll see how much, again down here, the annual method. So W-2 income or such, you'd put it here. We also have multi-year average. You can fill in for mother and father just up to 5 years of income, and it's going to determine the average right down here. So multi-year average. I also have this other calculator that I've used and experimented with. The judges don't like it because the judges don't understand it, but it's a last paycheck method, and what it does is you enter in the amount paid through a certain date, basically through starting at, let's say, well, let me explain it this way. Let's say we have a pay stub in October, and the person's made $32,000. Say father's made $32,000 through October the 1st. So you'd actually put in $32,000. You'd put in the end date would be October 1st, 2013. It's going to tell you there's been 274 days. That's about 75% of the year. When we do, and then the calculator will extrapolate out. If you've made that much in the first 75%, then you'll make a certain percentage in the next 25%. And so we figure the gross monthly income to be about $3,500. Some of the math is sort of hidden, but I think it's a useful method when you have a limited amount of information, and in family law that's usually the case. Also, just so you know, I think it's sort of interesting is we have actually built some high income calculations. As you know, the child support guidelines go up to $15,000 per month. In this calculator, let's say father makes $15,000 a month. The calculator's going to warn you that we've exceeded the child support guidelines. Heck, we don't know where to go from here. So what we've done is done some calculations based on case law. So we took the Smith versus Smith case from the Oklahoma Court of Civil Appeals, as well as the Bosnick calculation, and you can see here on tab 3 it's going to go through and show you what the obligation is, based on those cases and our use in the calculation. But that's the child support worksheet. Again, I think it's been enjoyable to put it together. I always thought it's somewhat like building your own lightsaber. When you're going to be a Jedi, you have to know your tools, and we've built this tool, and we use it in all of our cases. But it's up to you whether you want to use it. I don't guarantee that it's perfect, but it's what we rely on, and I think we've had good results in the past. So happy calculating, and take care.